Made some halloumi fries. Just got them out the air fryer. I'm not so sure about that sauce. I prefer more of a chili sauce or a hot sauce. I don't know what that is. Anyway, this is the R380 Stumpy Gearbox. This is designed to supersede and replace the LT77 gearbox found in the 200 TDI models and earlier models. I think it was introduced by the military to replace all the broken 77 models in the 200 TDIs in their fleet, redesigned to be a takeout and direct replacement for the 77. It's a brilliant idea. It directly replaces the 77. No messing about. This bell housing suit fits up perfect to the engine. I get asked all the time, have I got to change the tunnel? No, you've not got to change the tunnel. You haven't got to change really very little, to be honest. You've got to use a Stumpy release bearing. So this is the release bearing that we send with the kit, with the gearbox. However, Luke at LOF offers a heavy duty one, but make sure that you fit the Stumpy release bearing. Same clutch, same TDI clutch, but that release bearing. So send one of those with it, and a new clutch fork, and a spigot bush. All that comes with it. You do have to change two things. The reverse switch, let me get the camera show you. The reverse switch on here, on the R380, is now here. I send a reverse switch out with these. I've just put that in to pressure test it. So the reverse switch goes in there. It's no longer on the back of the top remote that sits on here. I'll show you on in a minute on a 77. So that's where that it goes to. So all you've got to do is cut the wires, put some spade ends to it, job's a fish, perfect. The other thing you've got to do is swap the diff lock lever, and I'll send one of those with them as well. I'll show you that again in a minute. In every way, let me move my food. I'll eat that in a minute. In every way, this is an absolute massive upgrade. I do my best to talk everyone into fitting one of these gearboxes. Let's do away with that 77, which is just, it pales in significance to the R380. Such a massive upgrade in strength. And not only that, we're not even upgrading to just a suffix J. All our Winchester gear Stumpy R380s are suffix K or Ls. Also the option to put a V8 fifth gear into the R380. Building a 77 now, an LT77, is very difficult to build a good quality one. And the reason being, no one's making any good quality parts for them. The parts that are available are pretty diabolical, to be honest. The gears are just not good enough. They're cut wrong, they whine. Some of the selector forks are just no good. The synchro rings, they're a disaster. They don't work as well as the originals. You can build one, but you've got to scour the earth for places that have got a little bit of genuine stock left over. And by the time we've done that, and found all those good quality components, the price far exceeds this 77 build. So do yourself a favour, if you've got a 200 TDI and you need a gearbox, put one of these in. Oh, another thing, reverse is in a different place. Reverse is now down from 5th gear. Rather than dog-legged across from 1st, it's now down from 5th. But no need to change any prop shafts, no need to change any mounts. Everything is exactly as it should be. So have a watch of this video and you'll see a little bit more about it. These are the basic parts you need to build an R380 Stumpy. This input shaft, nice little short one. So we do away with this long TD5 one and replace it with this. A modified front cover. Just take the release bearing and a bell housing. I've been asked this a few times, how do we press this bearing on? This bearing that goes onto the main shaft. Well, it's nice and easy actually for us. We take one of these used bushes from the R380, pop it straight on. It's a little bit fiddly because I've got to hold the gears up. Put it on the press like that. Hold the gears. Press it home. While it's on the press, it's a really good time to see that everything's doing its job and working as it should be. So 2nd gear there, see how it's spinning free of the shaft, and 1st gear there, also spinning free of the shaft. That means it's in neutral. The hub here that sits between the two, once we start to push this down, stops that gear from spinning. As soon as I back off, it'll spin free. As soon as I push on, it'll stop spinning. That's the synchro doing its job, slowing the gear down before it changes gear. If I push it further, it'll drop into gear. Those dogs of the hub have now locked over the dogs of the gear, and the gear is now fixed to the shaft. So that'll drive through all the way. We're going to fit this one with a brand new lay gear. Antonio Macereo, best gears in the business. Look at that, lovely lay gear, Suffix K. And with a new pinion in there, those two are going to become very good friends. Now Land Rovers absolutely love to leak. It's like it's in their nature or something. With all the best intentions in the world, a Land Rover will still find somewhere to leak oil from. So even though we use the genuine best seals, don't take any chances. Put a smear of Loctite around that seal as well before we fit it into the front housing. Now it's time to shim this bad boy up, so let me show you how we do that. Right. On the lay gear we have a shim, and on the main shaft we have a shim. Two shims, different sizes, can't get them wrong. Here's the taper bearings behind here. So these shafts are sat all the way home down. We drop the shims on that have come from this particular gearbox to start with. So we shouldn't be too far out with what we've got. Take the plate, pop it over the top. Sit that on there nice and snug. Take 4 socket cap screws and drop them into these holes here, and they sit nice and flush there then. Spin them down, put that positioned there and zeroed. So if I grab a hold of this shaft and pull it up, you see that moved? It's moved about 6 thou. Yes, this DTI is Imperial, so that needs a 6 thou shim in there. plus a touch of preload. In terms of preload, I like to give these about 2 thou. Not much, just enough. We want to go 0 end float and then a tiny bit of preload. Same on this one. Now I'm going to guess this is going to be perfect, but I might be wrong. It is perfect, and you know I know it's perfect, I was going to be. It's because it's got an Antonio Macereo brand new leg gear in. They are perfect. So that one is going to be absolutely spot on. The bearing shell's not moving in the outer race. I can feel that there's just the right amount of preload on there. So I want to find a shim for this one, shim it up, and job's a fish. There's not much left to do on this now. Taut the bolts up. Fit the top selector yoke. Run it through the gears and pressure test it. All that's left to do is pressure test it. So we put them into this tank of water, pump them up to 10 psi through the breather and look for any leaks. That's just the drain, the filler plug. If we nip that up, that'll stop leaking, so we're not too concerned about that. What we're looking for is leaks on the input seal, leaks on the output seal, leaks on the oil pump. That's why we tend to find any leaks. Sometimes they can work their way through the bolts on the oil pump. Well, sometimes the seal's not quite doing its job right. So it's always important to run them through here first. Right, I found a 77. Unfortunately it's not a 200 TDI one, it's actually a V8, so ignore the fact it's got a V8 bell housing on it. Everything else is the same. So this is a 77 top. Now there's three things that need to be done on here. So first of all, the reverse switch, like I was saying, the old reverse switch is on the back of that top remote. On a Defender one, it's not there. Wrong end. It's not there, look. It is on a 77. So just blank that off. Put a bolt in it. On an R380 it's there. R380 right next to us to compare to. Okay, so remove that wire up to that. No need to extend or shorten the loom. It's in the right kind of ballpark in terms of length. Secondly, on the 77 we've got a reverse plunger. Let's see here a bit closer. See that reverse plunger? Okay, so you don't need that anymore because it doesn't need a reverse plunger across from first gear. So you can take that off and put a plate on it, or you can just take the guts out of it, and that's fine. Just do away with that. So the R380 one doesn't have that. You can see how it was cast for it to be machined. It's exactly the same, just doesn't use it. And finally, you need to remove this. So just take those two 10mm bolts off there and pull that little guide peg off. Throw it in the bin. You don't need it. The R380 doesn't have it, and that's because the R380 has got one, but it's actually fitted to the gearbox. It's right here. It's this piece here. So again, reverse switch, do away with. Reverse plunger, do away with. Guide peg, do away with. Okay, linkages. We're on the floor. Chances are, and this is just for diff lock, high and low, you don't have to change, that's fine. chances are, if you've got a 77, a 200 TDI 77, you've got this. And you need to replace it for this. If you've got a really early 77, before the 200 TDIs, you're going to have this. Again, throw that away, we don't need it. We need one of these. And that's all you need, just that. That's actually the same, and that's the same. So we just need to put one of those on. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching, guys. So if you've got a LT77 powered Defender, do yourself a favour and upgrade to an R380 Stumpy. See you next time.